Saturday night is the Rangers Journal night.
Morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this, and welcome to the Lowdown. My name is Doug, and I'm here to give you the updates on our upcoming fixture opponents, which in this case will be Hibernian. This will be the last of our festive sort of low-tech Lowdowns. As of next one, we'll be back up fully running with all our slides and info graphics for you to see. So this sort of marks the end of 2024, pushing into 2025 for the latest information for you about Rangers and their opponents in every game and every competition. So as I say, we're going to be facing Hibernian on Sunday, which is our game following hot off the heels of our excellent performance against Celtic in the league, where we obviously won 3-0. A really good game from start to finish from Rangers, and a game that really makes you wonder where that team is from week to week when playing in the immediate games prior to St Mirren and Motherwell. I'd say we needed to go into that game with the right attitude, and we did. I was pleased to see that the simple options they chose, there's the defensive questions that we had, there's goalkeeper and right back. I think he did well, picked the simple, correct options, and that came out in the game. But we need to keep that up. The trick isn't these sort of more big European style games, which we tend to do well in. The games that we now need to show that mentality and that kind of performance is these games against tough opponents like Hibs, against the teams that like St Mirren and Motherwell that will put up a bit more of a block, and our away form in general, which we need to pick up in the league. So if we have a look at the form of both teams coming into this, Rangers form a little bit patchy. You could either say 2 draws, a loss and a win, or 2 losses, a draw and a win, depending on how you want to mark the League Cup. It's easy after full time. It's obviously a draw for the game, but losing the penalties. Then losing to St Mirren, that disappointing 2-1, and then the following disappointing 2-2 draw with Motherwell before going into that 3-0 excellent game against Celtic. Hibs have been a lot more smoother their last 4 games. They've got 3 wins and a draw. They're coming off a draw with St Johnstone after decent wins against Kilmarnock, Hibs and Aberdeen. Hibernian have been on an improved run of form of late. They started off very poorly, but they've managed to pull themselves back up. They've currently settled in 7th place in the league, having played 21 and sitting there with 25 points. Scored 28 goals with conceding 32, so a -4 goal difference currently. Obviously, Rangers were still sitting in 2nd place with only 19 played, 39 points, 34 scored and 13 against. So a goal difference of plus 21. So you can see, in terms of goals scored, we're not actually that much further ahead of Hibernian. That has been part of our problem, not scoring goals, not taking chances. But we are vastly improved defensively, or vastly superior, I should say, defensively. And that should hopefully be something we can continue into the game. In terms of our head-to-head performance against Hibernian, it is pretty good. All wins in the last sort of 8 games. My last match on the 29th of September was a 1-0 win at home. Prior to which we had a 3-1 win at home. 2 away games prior to that, which we won 2-0 and 3-0 respectively. 4-0 and a 3-1 going back to May 2023. So that's a good set of results against Hibernian. They are a team that, although can cause problems, we do tend to come out victorious against, and sometimes by a good margin. That's what I'd like to see in this coming game, getting a few goals, continuing that good form, and I'm pushing on into 2025 with the right mannerism and the right forefront. In terms of what we can expect from Hibs, they'll be playing a sort of a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, kind of more simply. They are an experienced side with a decent set of players, complemented by some younger guys in the team who have been coming into form. They've got pacey wide men who can cause damage to the 2 captains on either side, and playing well, can cross balls diagonally well to one another, and provide real attacking thrust to the Hibernian team. Both are good at crossing, going around Nicky Cadden in particular, and so say that will be a real danger for them in terms of an attacking force, although as I'll touch on in a sec, that can leave them open defensively as well. Those were the areas that we need to keep an eye on. I think both of our fullbacks are well placed to take them on with terms of their pace and ability to tackle. So we should hopefully be okay in terms of taking that on. We've got, as I say, players that can match their traits. Although they are doing well for Hibs, sort of overall contextually within the league, obviously they're still a little bit further back. So they have been playing better lately, though, so we don't want to take it too lightly. But those are areas that we'll see them, as I say, playing with strength. The front men obviously have decent movement across the board, moving the ball around, but some of the players are not the best in terms of passing, with some low passing percentages across the team. So although they can move well, they're not always the best at finding each other. Again, sort of longer balls, crosses in, tend to be what provides them a bit more success. So that's kind of more, I think, what we need to look at, make sure our defenders are on top of any balls coming into the box. The goalkeeper can be a bit suspect. He's not had the best of seasons. I think we pepper him. You could see chances coming in, rebounds from suspect catching or punching out, or indeed just general sort of mistakes from positioning. Something I'd like to see us just knock a few balls on top of him and see how he does. And as I say, well, the wide men are really good at attacking. And first of all, when they do push up, they can leave their centre backs a little bit isolated. Can leave space that potentially our wingers, if we can force a quick turnaround when they're pushing forward and release the ball early out to our pacier players, particularly Cherney. I think Cherney can have a really good game against this side, finding space to run at those centre backs and really cause them some trouble, make them think about what they're going to have to do. So I think Cherney could be having a game that he'd enjoy in this one. And the other sort of main thing that I think is the difficulty for Hibernian is their concentration. They do have a tendency to concede late goals. So if we're sort of on top of it and pushing from start to finish, then again we could maybe ideally get one or two to start to make the game comfortable, and then maybe complement that with a couple late on as their concentration drops off. In terms of danger men for Hibernian, obviously we mentioned the two Caddens on the wing. I want to highlight Nicky Cadden in particular, tends to play on the left side. He's got 4 goals and 3 assists in 15 matches thus far, 77% passing accuracy. In terms of his movements and releasing the ball, he, as I say, good passing, sort of those pass-come crosses from deep to the opposite side. He's created 29 chances thus far, and he's got 14 dribbles, which is more than 83% of similar players in similar positions across similar leagues. So, as I say, he's a danger man in terms of the creation, and I think chance creation will be the player. If we can keep quiet, we will eliminate a lot of Hibernian's chances. More up front, they've got Martin Boyle, I'm sure some people will be familiar with. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists in 19 matches. He's got 66% passing accuracy. So I'm saying in terms of movement, they've been playing quite good up front, but the passing accuracy is not quite as good among the players there. He's also got 15 chances created himself and 19 successful dribbles, which is better than 76% of similar players in similar positions across similar leagues. So good at sort of moving the ball himself. But again, if we can force him to try and make passes, then we could potentially get turnovers from those passes failing. One other player I wanted to just quickly highlight, we've got a young, I think it was Australian midfielder, not much stats on him at the moment, Triantis, I think his name is. He's sort of been playing really well as part of their resurgence in the middle of the park. On FotMob, he's had an 8+ rating in 4 out of the last 5 matches, so he could be someone to keep an eye on. A lot of energy, a bit more youth, as I say, and an experienced team. I wasn't able to gather as much stats, particularly on him, but he does seem to be a player that's in a bit of form at the moment and something to keep an eye on and maybe keep closed down. In terms of Rangers in our lineup, I think you wouldn't go wrong by suggesting we should just play the same side again, with them having played so well. Butland is still out, likely to be late January, as with Tavernier. Still got Sutter injured, although hopefully you'll have him back by kind of mid-January. And Catherine Virgil and Tom Lawrence are still out on the injury list as well. So I would expect Kelly obviously will start in this match. I don't see any reason to change the defence. Yilmaz, Sterling, Popper, and Jefty were all excellent in the Old Firm, so I would just leave that as is and let them continue. We're asking a Diomande in the middle. And the only one thing I would maybe potentially change, I would keep Cherney, keep Hadji, but potentially bring in Danilo to play in that central 10. A little bit of difference, a bit more dynamism. Barami came in and did an excellent job to mark out McGregor out of the game pretty much. But I don't think we need that kind of marking or discipline for any of the Hibs players. So I would potentially put Danilo in to give him some more minutes, keep building him. He's coming on and scoring goals. I think his dynamic runs will be good to help stretch the space and open up spaces for players like Cherney, who can sort of run and push to potentially get some goals. And you can have a man up front. That may be a bit harsh on Barami, as he did play very well. Can easily just start him again as they start with the same team. No one can say they haven't earned the opportunity to have that start and carry on. But as I say, I just think that's something that could potentially, with Hibs pushing their wingers forward and leaving some of those gaps and those isolated centre backs, having a player like Danilo who's a little bit quicker and making those dynamic runs to open up spaces so the players like Cherney can go in. I think that could give us some good opportunities. Cherney's the danger man that I'd highlight for us in this game. I think his dynamic running, his direct running will be of difficulty to Hibs, particularly getting those spaces that their wide men may leave defensively. If he can get one-on-one with some of the centre-backs and run straight at them, and if players like Danilo, Hadji, Egaman can occupy other ones, then I think we can see chances opening up for the likes of Cherney. I'm going to predict Cherney to be on the score sheet for this game. And I'm going to go for a 3-0 again for Rangers. I'm really hoping that we continue the thrust from the previous game into this one, keep that attitude, keep that tempo, and really show that 2025 can be a better and more consistent year than 2024 was. The trouble that Clement has had his entire time with Rangers has been inconsistency. He'll have a really good game and follow it up with a really stuffy game. And we really need to put that to bed and we really need to start being consistent if Clement is going to win back fans and keep his job long term. Because long term, that inconsistency will lead to him losing his job if he doesn't iron it out. So that's the lowdown this week on Hibernian. As I say, the following one coming up, we'll be back to the full show with slide decks and infographics. So do look forward to getting those back. Do have to look at my face for the entire 10 to 15 minutes of the show. Got more great stuff coming on the Rangers Journal, so please keep an eye on it for all your latest Rangers news and match-related content. This has been The Lowdown. My name's been Doug. And please remember that every night is Rangers Journal night. Thank you.